What's good, y'all? So I've been going through some things right now. Uh I had got my truck towed, my green semi truck towed, and I've parked right off of 84 and this Envo truck stop slash gas station. Okay. I'm gonna show you guys around the area and everything of how it looks. And I want you guys to explain to me what you guys see, after I sit here and I show you what I see. Okay. Now, all right. So this is where I park. Okay. See these drag marks? Okay. You see all that over there? My truck was literally right over there. Right. I'm gonna walk over there, but I want you to see the damage that they have done to my semi truck. They dragged my semi truck to get it from. Just gotta go ahead and fire. Go get that bag. I pray to God I have a blessed day. Wake and bake is the only way. All right, so let's talk about it. So, how everything happened, Saturday morning, I get to the truck stop, okay? It is Labor Day weekend. Saturday I come here, my truck is gone, okay? I sat here, I'm panicked, like I'm in disbelief, wiping my eyes, like, oh my God, my truck is gone. So, and it's funny because my boy that parks here, that I told him about this parking spot, he came in and he said, oh, I said, look bro, you see my truck is gone. He said, what? So anyway, I go inside the Envo gas station, right? Because this is where I park at. I don't live too far from here. So I go inside and I'm like, can I please speak to your manager? So I sat here and I spoken with the two employees. Now, I'm not going to say names that is not needed. I'm going to say the important names that needs to be spoken about in this specific case, right? So check this out. So I speak to Matt. Matt is the manager of Envo, right? There's multiple managers, 3 managers on here, right? So I speak to Matt, and there's another guy. I never really see him, but I see the females. So now there's a female manager. I don't want to give her name up, and there's a lot of the female employees. Okay, and there's 3 male employees that I see all the time. You know what I mean? 2 of them been here as long as I've been parking here, which is 2 years. Okay, of all of them basically, except for one guy of the regular employee. So I go inside. Listen, I need to speak to your manager. So speaking to the manager, name is Matt. Matt, please tell me, like, do you know anything about my truck being towed? He's like, towed? He said, it's the green semi truck that's literally parked right behind my car. He's like, no, I don't know. I said, and I'm like, the way I'm talking, it's like, I'm like, yo, I can't believe I'm in so disbelief. So he's like, oh, wait, calm down. He's like, I don't know. So I said, all right, so you don't know? Now I'm on the phone with the cops. Boom, on the phone. The funny part is when I call the cops, like I told you earlier, the cops go sit here and tell me, gather all the information and then call us back. Oh, okay, great. I'm trying to make a police report. You're telling me basically do all of this. Okay, no problem. Cool. So as I'm there and I'm in the car with my peoples, right? So I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh shoot. Let me look at the GPS, okay? Or GPS, because I got a tracker device in my truck. So look at the GPS. See, my truck is literally 18 minutes away from this truck stop that I'm currently parked at, right? Now, for those that are confused, I'm with CRST, okay? And that is my truck that is paid for cash, okay? I put it here in this lot. right? So I park my CRST truck right next to my truck all the time. Okay? So cool. So I end up going back inside, and I'm following what the officer basically telling me, find all the information. So I'm trying to do that. So as I walk back inside, one of the female employees comes and she says, hey, I overheard the situation. I'm trying to help Matt. I looked on the camera, and the towing company that towed your car is Black's Towing. She said, Black's Towing. She said, okay. So I looked it up, and she's telling me, she said, it's literally the next exit over, exit 17. So I told her, thank you. Okay? So I called Joe's Black Towing, and that's what popped up. I said, hey, how you doing? I said, I'm the gentleman, is it a GPS? I'm not really, like, looking what actually day it got moved. I'm just looking, like, you know how GPS recycles and says the last time it's seen, the last time it's been seen. You know what I mean? So I called Joe. I said, hey, how you doing? Is this Joe? Yes, this is Joe. I said, I got a question. I said, I'm the gentleman that had his, you towed a green Volvo out of the Envo gas station off of 20. He said, yeah. He said, yeah, it was abandoned. It's been sitting there for 8 months. I said, it's not abandoned. And I said, even if it was sitting here, I said, I've communicated with the Envo, the employees here, the managers. Said, what do you mean, like, it's abandoned? Well, you had trash around, I said, have you looked around in this parking lot? He said, well, you had parts and stuff like that, oil buckets. I don't have no oil, no bucket. What do you? I said, man, there was a truck parts that's literally right behind my truck. So he's like, well, I was told, and we got it towed. I said, then on top of that, you dragged my truck? I said, how is it abandoned when there's a whole car parked in front of it? He's like, well, I don't know what to tell you, man. They told us to tow it, and that was it. I said, okay. I said, all right, so you just guys just tow people's truck without no warning, no nothing? Well, look, man, they just told me what to do. Okay. So I said, you know what? No problem. I said, well, can I pick up my truck up today? Well, before I even allow him to finish, and I said, but wait, hold on. Before I pick it up, how much is the tow? How much is everything? So he tells me, well, I don't know right now because there's no one in the office. So I said to him, because I looked it up, I Googled it, and I said, aren't you 24 hours? Yeah, it was, it's Labor Day weekend, nobody's in the office. I said, okay, so you're 24 hours, and Labor Day is actually Monday. So you mean there's nobody in the office today? No, I won't be able to tell you. So I said, so you mean to tell me I got to wait extra 4 more days? And God knows, he told me it's $100 for storage. That's what he did tell me. It's $100 for storage. So I said, so I got to sit here and pay extra $400 because no one's at the office. I said, aren't you the owner? Yeah, I'm the owner. I said, well, I can't pick up my truck today? He said, well, like I said, nobody's in the office. Okay, no problem. All right. No problem. So now I got to wait extra 4 more days because no one's in the office. Okay, cool. This is what he told me. So I go back inside, and I sat here, and I told him, I said, Matt, like, I don't understand, like, what happened here. I said, and this is my second time actually meeting Matt, to be honest, throughout the whole time I've been here. So I'm like, I said, listen, I've spoken to all the employees. Everybody was fine with my truck here, so my truck was not abandoned. I said, I'm fixing my truck. I said, yo, like, honestly, I'm giving him everything I got. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, I lose my pops to the beginning of this year. And I said, like, yo, like, it's a lot that's going on. So he's like, look, let me write your name. Let me write your name down. Let me write your phone number. And, we're going to get it squared away, right? Oh, I forgot this part of the information right here. So when I spoke to Joe before I went back inside and spoke to Matt, the part I just told you, I said, well, can you give me, like, who told you to, like, who's the owner? You keep saying owner. He says, his name is Dan. You have to speak to Dan. So I'm like, all right, who the hell is Dan? Thank you. So I go back inside and I'm telling Matt, like, like, it's crazy, right? And I said, well, I spoke to Joe. Joe said the name Dan. So Matt's like, oh, it's not Dan, it's Don. So I'm like, okay, well, now who's Don? He's like the service manager. He goes around and, it's like 30 of these envos, around the area. And I'm like, it's not that many, but I don't know. Throughout this route, I don't know. But anyway, he said, look, unfortunately, I won't be able to get in contact with him now. I have to get in contact with him Tuesday. So I'm like, all right, cool, no problem. But throughout the whole weekend, I'm pissed off. Tuesday comes, I'm already on a load. I deliver it, I go re-pick up the next load. And I said, all right, Matt told me he gets in at 10 o'clock. So I waited 10:30. I called Matt, said, hey, Matt. I said, what's going on? Are we going to speak to, Dawn or whatever? He said, all right, look, I didn't speak to him yet. I said, but I'm going to speak to him around 4 o'clock. Call back around at 4 o'clock. Okay, no problem. He said, listen, man, thank you for calling, man. We're going to get this squared away. Cool, no problem. Made me feel, okay, you understand. So I ended up calling Joe's Black Towing and I asked him, hey, how you doing? I just want to know how much is the tow and everything, So he's telling me $100 a day, from Tuesday. So I asked him, so you actually count the day that you pick it up? Like, today you picked it up, it's in your shop, you charge that day? He said, yeah, that's how we do it. Okay, no problem. So he said, the $800 plus the $700 is $100 a day from Tuesday to Tuesday. Well, I told him Wednesday I'll pick it up because, I didn't know my load, how I was going to work it. So he tells me the number, right? Mind you, 700 plus 800, you gotta do the math, right? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15. Okay. $1,500. Right? If I'm picking it up on Wednesday. Right? Remember that. I did the math. So he tells me, if you're gonna pick it up tomorrow, it's gonna be $1,750. I'm like, wait, what? So yeah, plus the that's a towing and the cleaning fee. I'm like, cleaning fee? What? I said, okay, no problem. So I end up like hanging up the phone with him. I'm calling my peoples and I'm like, yo, I'm looking at my loads. I said, listen, I will be driving past. I won't be able to deliver this load today anyway. I deliver it in the morning. Okay, so listen, call my peoples. Hey, we think, you guys meet me, whatever, if I need to go pick up this truck, cool, we can definitely pick it up. Okay. So I end up calling Joe. I say, hey, Joe, what time you guys close today? He said, the office closed at 5. I said, all right, look, I'm an hour and 19 minutes away. I said, my GPS said I'll be there at 4:30. Oh, okay, I got a question. How you gonna get it out of here? I said, I'm gonna drive it. What do you mean? And he's like, well, the drive shaft is up. I'm like, what? I'm like, the drive shaft? I said, man, I just paid somebody $1,500 to go ahead and put everything in it. $1,500? I said, yeah, like, I got new U-joints, new yoke, I got, there's new parts in the drive shaft. I'm like, bro, please tell me. I said, well, he said, well, we had to take it out because that was the only way. We didn't have no keys and we didn't want to miss the transmission. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I said, well, can anybody put it back? He said, yeah, I'll get somebody to put it back. Okay. Then he tried to get a little snippy with me and say, well, we're not going to be sitting there all day. You sure the truck turns on? Because we're not sure if it turns on. Joe, this is my truck. Yes, it turns on. I know it turns on. So he said, all right. So I said, look, I'll see you when I get there. So drive. So I calculated from the time to come here to this truck stop where I'm at, where I park. But literally, I was going to pass his exit before this one. So I said, no, I'm going to just park right there. All right, so I get there. I go inside. And I sit there and I speak with his nephew. The reason why I know it's his nephew is because on his phone, it said Uncle Joe. So go in there. And I said, hey, my name's Tom. I'm here to pick up the Volvo that was towed last week Tuesday. All right, cool. He looked at the paperwork. He looked at the receipt. It was jotted down. All right, 1550. Does that number sound familiar? I said, sure it does. Knowing that what Joe said was the wrong number. You know, like it just didn't add up. So right off rip, I already know everything's about to be funny from here on out because everybody don't know who's what and the numbers. It's already giving me funny vibes. So go ahead, give him $1,000 cash, and I just paid the rest of my card. And he said I had to call Joe, you know, because he told me to call when you arrive. Okay, cool, no problem. So arrive. He calls Joe. Joe pick up the phone and say, yeah, did he pay? Okay, yeah, okay. I'm just hearing it. Like, I just hear the whole conversation. I don't know really word for word right now, but I heard the whole conversation. But the only things that I did hear was, does he have his keys? And I just replied, like, you know, knowing they wasn't talking to me. I said, yeah, I got my keys. Why wouldn't I have my keys in my truck? So the nephew basically says, yeah, he's right here. You want to speak to him? Okay, so we put him on speaker, and he says, all right, so you paid? Yep. He said, all right, you got your keys? I said, yeah. So why wouldn't I have my keys in my truck? He said, all right. I said, well, is the drive shaft put back together? So he said, yeah, the drive shaft's put back. I said, all right, cool. So he said, all right, well, it's there, and, you know, you sure it's going to turn on? Yes. Like, weird. So, all right. Nephew gets the card out. He said, this is the address. This is where the truck is at. So, all right, cool. So I got the address. We drive there. When we drive there, it's in the back road, but the back road has a main road. It's not a dirt road. It's a paved road. And as we pulling up to the address that he giving me, it's 2 trailer homes. There's a whole bunch of trash there. And you see, like, broken down trucks in the back or whatever. Then I just knew this was one of his locations because it said Black's Towing. So I'm like, I don't know if this truck is here. So I look at my GPS. The truck is an extra 15 minutes down the road. So where I was at with nephew to get to that first location was already 15 minutes. So we had to drive another 15 minutes. So I zoomed out to see exactly like how far, where is it at, where is it next to? It's next to Scranton. So I'm like, yo, this is a whole 30 minutes from this exit. I'm like, they must have moved my truck, you know, because I looked and I said, okay, this is not the same address. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I go ahead, we drive. As we driving, I'm seeing my truck, and then as I'm driving, mind you, barely was no service back in these back roads. Joe calls me out of nowhere. Says, hey, want to know if you find your truck, you know, okay? Yeah, I'm pulling up as we speak right now. It's okay. So he said, all right, the boys are there waiting for you. So I get there, hop out. These 2 white young men come out, look red in the face, you know, like it's just red. So I don't know. They didn't give me like angry vibes or nothing like that, right? They just gave me like I got caught vibes, like damn, you know, like we thought we had a lick type of face, you know? So I'm looking, right? It's literally somebody's property. It's like somebody's property that's a hoarder. It don't look like no junkyard. Well, it did kind of, you know, but it's actually somebody's property. It's not like a towing shop or whatever. Like, it just looks like somebody's a hoarder. There's a trailer home there, and then it's literally the road, and then the property wherever it's at. Like, literally, you could just, because the way the road was turning, whatever. So we pull in, my truck is in the little fence, right? On the left-hand side, there's a truck right next to mine's stripped. So I'm thinking that, okay, they thought they had a lick. So I shook these boys' hands. How y'all doing? How you doing? So what's your name? Dan. What's your name? Ralph. Okay. Do you guys put the drive shaft back together? Yes, we did. I said, was it hard? Nah. I said, do you guys think this truck was abandoned? It's like, they shook their head, looked at each other like, nah. I said, oh yeah, you saw all the new shiny pieces underneath, right? I just wanted to verify. This is why I'm questioning, right? They said, yeah, nah, it wasn't hard. So he's asked, one of the boys asked me, those stacks original? Yeah, those original. Oh, okay. So I'm like, my steppers over there, these 3 buckets that said, okay, this is my buckets right here, because I need my buckets. They said, yeah. So 2 buckets had pieces in it, you know. It wasn't like a whole bunch of metal pieces. It was just like brackets and stuff like that, right? And then the third bucket, that it had trash from the truck stop. That's not mine, you know. So they ended up giving that to me anyway. So I threw it in the trunk of the car, and I'm putting the battery together. I took the airlock off my truck, and they said, oh, you had an airlock on it? I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, these boys probably didn't know how to really, like, I don't know. They just gave me funny vibes. So I turn it on, boom, because they asked me before I even turned it on, you got your keys? I'm like, yo, what's up with them asking me if I got my keys? So that gave me a thought that they think I'm bullshitting, basically. So, like, all right, put the battery together, boom, put the wire to the battery, took the airlock off, crank it up, boom. They said, oh, I said, what kind of engine is that? It's the Cummins. Oh, nice. So they give me the vibes like they really wanted this damn truck, basically. That's what the vibes they gave me, you know? So they said, we need to take a picture of the VIN. So in my head, I'm like, why you need a picture? Because in my head, I'm like, all right, I already know they all networking, right? Why not just send the copy of the title to one of them to verify the VIN number? Why you gotta take the VIN? All right, whatever, cool. They took it, whatever. I drove it, I grabbed it, and drove home. Okay, cool. The next day, I call, mind you, Envo don't even know I got my truck. So I call Envo, and the next day, spoke to Matt. Said, hey man, what's going on? Hey, how you doing? I said, so what's going on? They said, listen, I didn't speak to nobody just yet. I'm going to speak to Dawn at 4 o'clock. Call me around 4 o'clock. Okay, no problem. 3:59 comes, right? Nobody picks up. Nobody picks up at all. Okay. 4 o'clock, 4:05, I call, nobody picks up. Cool. Say less. The following day I call, it's the female that the manager that's here. Hey, is Matt around? No, he's not in today, he's off today. Okay. So let me ask you a question. Do you know of a person named Dawn? She's like, yeah, there's a Dawn there. I said, okay. I gave her the scenario, what happened. She was like, what? They did what? She said, no, like, we know about your truck that's back there. Like, they should have never did that. And he doesn't even come out. Like, he doesn't even come out here. Like, he doesn't even, for him to initiate the tow. So she basically was like, well, I can't give you his personal number. I can give you the office number. Okay, cool. Gave me the number. I called Don. Hey, Don, how you doing? This is, Todd Dunn. This is gentleman, the green truck that you towed. I just wanted to know what was the reason of the initiation of the tow. So he says, I didn't tow your truck. I said, yeah, I was told by Matt that you initiated the tow. Wait, is this over there, exit 20? Then? Yeah. Oh, yeah. You the guy that had the truck that was there for 3 weeks? I'm like, in my head, I'm just going along with it. Yeah. So he goes, well, yeah, like it's just been sitting there, like, then you had trash around it? I said, I didn't have trash. I said, there's trash around the whole tree line. I'm parked next to the tree line. He said, no, but you had oil and stuff. I said, I didn't have oil. I just had my buckets. I just had parts. He said, listen, this ain't a auto shop, I said, no, but I spoken with your employees inside, and we had an understanding. Well, that's not, they didn't tell me that. I said, well, did you even bother to ask them before you initiated the tow? He said, well, no, I'm told, whatever, and yes, I initiated the tow. So now I went from, no, I didn't initiate the tow, to yeah, I initiated the tow. So I said, so you just towed somebody's truck without no signs, no warnings, no nothing? Well, we try to clean up the yard, and try to clean up the yard, and yes, we're going to be soon be putting up signs. I said, okay. So you just towed somebody's truck without no signs, no nothing whatsoever. He said, look, listen. Call back tomorrow. Me and you and Matt, we're going to figure something out. How about that? Is that okay? Because right now, I don't have your truck. He's throwing it off at Joe. So because Joe has your truck, yes, he's contracted with us. I call him and he'll do the towing. And also basically says something about Joe does, he does walk around. He's contracted where he'll drive around and he'll look around the lots for us. So I'm like, oh, okay. I said, all right. I said, well, I just don't think that it's fair that, I sat here and spoke to, the managers here already. They told me that there was no problem, no issue. And he just brushed me off. Said, just call me back tomorrow. Okay. I'm going to pause that right there. Y'all tell me, let me know where I was wrong at. I want y'all to tell me where y'all know what's going to happen. You get what I'm saying? He already initiated saying that he didn't initiate the tow, then he did initiate the tow. Then he stated that he towed my truck, and then he stated that we're soon going to be putting up signs. Now, just like for their insurance purposes, that phone call is recorded. Little did anybody know, I recorded the conversation too. So, it's war, y'all. It's war. That's all I can say. But let me show y'all this footage of the daylight so y'all can see. Alright? So, let's start off with like how my truck, right? It's my homegirl's car. Right? Look how they dragged my truck. Okay? Look at that. From there, all the way dragged underneath this trailer. Okay? All underneath there. Alright? Look at all this trash though. This ain't mine though. You know? All those bottles, these guys new. There's a whole bunch of trash here. Don't let's sit here and blame me. There's a whole bunch of trash. There's stuff over there that I don't even know what the hell that is over there. But it's there though. A whole bunch of trash. Okay, look, this is somebody's trailer. You can tell the box is crazy. It's beat up. Somebody, I don't know, got into it. All the straps and stuff is there. I don't know what they're doing with this trailer. But anyway, it says no drop trailers. Alright, it's a big open lot. I don't think my truck was bothering anybody. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, at night, it'd be packed and whatnot. Damn sure do. Like even this right here, where you see these tire marks right here, it'd be trucks lined up right here. Just lined up like these trucks in front of me. But right here. So it'd be like a middle row. That's where I park my stuff at. You know what I mean? I don't think I was bothering nobody. Look. I want to talk about trash, right? I just want y'all to see the difference of trash. Now look, I got my trash in my hand. I'm gonna show you. I got courtesy. I don't sit here and throw piss bottles and shit like that. Like there's trash on the floor. Look at that, right there. Over here, edge protectors. There's trash everywhere. Like I don't think I need to explain anymore. That's what you see, right? And I'm not trying to be ignorant. I'm not trying to be none of that. But right is right, wrong is wrong. Okay? And I'm gonna show you where the posting. Okay? Posted sign. Posted sign says right here. It says blue and white. Okay, it's international. That truck been sitting there for a couple weeks. What did I say? No drop trailers allowed. Okay? No drop trailers allowed. Hold on. Let me show you something. This is a truck that's been sitting here for some months, bro. Let me show you. This truck right here is sitting here for months. Right? Sitting there for months. For months. Same exact thing. And they sitting here saying, I abandoned. Yeah, truck. That's my man's car, the silver car right there. You know? Look. So we're gonna go over here. We're gonna go over here. We're gonna go over here. We're gonna go over there. That's my man's car right there. Alright. You see all these weeds and stuff? Yeah. Shook been here for a hot minute, bro. A hot minute. A hot minute. It's sitting there. It's sitting here for a hot minute. It's sitting here for a hot minute. Okay? And then let's talk about my truck. My truck moves. You know what I mean? Because all the people who works, you know, they park the cars out here. So I just happened to park mine over there, which they said it was fine. So I'm not breaking no rules, no laws whatsoever. Look, trash. I'm not breaking no laws, no rules whatsoever. Okay? I think I am doing a good job on doing exactly what I asked, and they say I can do. I'm doing it. Now he said that Matt said these cameras don't work, but these cameras do work. According to Don, look at these cameras. You know they looking at me. You got one camera there, got a rotating camera right there, another camera right there. So I don't know what the problem is, man. There's no signs up for saying no drop trailer or none of that. Whatsoever. So as you can see, there's no signs whatsoever at all. There's nothing. There's no signs as you come in. You know. See. There's no signs whatsoever. You know. At all. So all I'm saying is, am I wrong for saying what I'm saying, or if any actions was to be made? Like, am I wrong at all? Because I don't think that I'm wrong whatsoever at all. You know, in this situation, I just went in there and I spoke to the female manager. I don't want to give her name up at all, because she's been nice to me, you know, and I don't want to get her caught up or whatever. But all I'm saying is, all the employees there, manager on down, they stated to me, they said that was wrong. That was wrong for what they did. They should have never did that whatsoever. You know, it should have never happened. You know, I communicated with them, things like that. So, yeah. So I got to do what I got to do, guys. You know, and that put a little damper on me. You know, it's first of the month, bills got to get paid, stuff like that. I didn't expect that. And I'm the type of person I hate to go into my savings to go ahead and pay bills that I don't want to use my savings for, you know. Put myself at a quota. It's kind of messing me up. But I know in the reality of life, things happen. So I'm not beating myself up. But yeah, please like, comment, subscribe, you know, for more videos, anything that's going on. I'm gonna let you know. There's been a lot going on, as you can see, and I'll try to keep you guys updated. Peace, love, and happiness.